Hey guys, Matt here. This is my review of Total Recall, 2012 version. This movie is directed by Len Wiseman, who directed the first Underworld movie, and this movie stars Colin Farrell, Jessica Biel, Kate Beckinsale, Bokeem Woodbine, with Bryan Cranston, Bill Nighy, and John Cho. Now, having first heard they were remaking Total Recall, I was like, well, okay, it's been about 22 years, but it's another Arnold Schwarzenegger remake. And my thought was, okay, Total Recall now, what's next? They're going to redo Commando? Are they going to redo Junior next? My only concern was how much of the original Total Recall is going to be in this movie. Now, this movie is based on the story We Can Remember It For You Wholesale by Philip K. Dick, whose other works were inspired to make the movies Adjustment Bureau and Minority Report. And this new version of Total Recall really doesn't have any feel or aspect to the original movie. Besides the plot that in this version seems loosely based on that one, the only real things that connected this movie to that are like 3 or 4 different nods, including the 2 weeks line, and there's a scene similar to the whole "see if the body Richter," but it's just terribly done in this new movie. Besides the names, you could see this movie, and for people that didn't see the original, I think they'd be let down because this movie wasn't that great. I'm sorry. I said it wasn't that great. What I meant to say was it wasn't that good. Now, for those of you that haven't seen the original Arnold Schwarzenegger version, see it, because you would better appreciate this review, because this new movie wasn't that good at all. It was garbage. As far as the acting goes, Colin Farrell, you could actually CGI him into the original and he would still fit. He did a good job. Jessica Biel, I don't know what it is with Hollywood and trying to put attractive women into action movies, because Mila Kunis didn't do a good job in an action movie. Jessica Biel proved once again she's not good at action. Comedy, romantic comedies, whatever else, okay. But action movies, not for her. Kate Beckinsale, on the other hand, good job. It was really cool to see her being directed by her husband, Len Wiseman, like she was in the Underworld movies. In this movie, she really did a good job of the tough person chasing after Colin Farrell's character. And for those of you that have seen the original, she was like Sharon Stone's character of the wife and Michael Ironside's character of Richter put together. She was really cool because she was relentless and ruthless, and she was not stopped until she got Colin Farrell. Bryan Cranston's also in the movie for a little bit at the end. He's a good actor, but as a bad guy, didn't really work. I mean, I couldn't get into it. One, because he had a lot more hair than his previous roles, but he just didn't come off as the bad guy sort. Bill Nighy, well, I like him as an actor as well, but just like in Wrath of the Titans, it was like, oh, cool, Bill Nighy, and then he's not in the movie anymore. It's like, really? I miss Bill Nighy. And then Bokeem Woodbine, who's from the movie Ray, he's a black actor. He's in a bunch of other things. In this movie, he's proved to me that he's starting to be more and more like Anthony Mackie, who was the guy that Eminem rapped at the end of 8 Mile. He was also in Adjustment Bureau. He was in Man on the Ledge. He's been in a bunch of stuff as well. Look him up. Because Bokeem Woodbine just before was doing nothing but minor roles, but now being in this movie and I'm seeing him in more stuff, he's a good actor. But one problem I had with this movie, actually one of the problems I had with this movie, was the dialogue. Especially his dialogue with Colin Farrell. It just wasn't that good. Also, this movie reminded me a lot of the infamous episode of South Park with all the, the counter in the bottom, counting all the shits, because they said that word in this movie like 13 times. This movie's PG-13, but they cursed a lot. If they weren't saying shit, they were saying ass. There's even a scene with brief nudity. This movie was just like, man, I'm surprised this isn't rated R, but even as a rated R movie, it still wouldn't have been that good. A huge problem I have with this movie were the lens flares. If you don't know what that is, it's basically this light shining off of something, and you can see its a reflection, or you can see its brightness off of something. J.J. Abrams did it a lot in Star Trek, and for a second I thought he was actually doing this movie, because I was like, there's so much bright lights shining at the camera or off of something, so you could always see like light just in every scene that included Colin Farrell and Bokeem Woodbine talking. There was a lens flare, or there was light shining in. It got really, really annoying. At the beginning of the movie, there's a scene where Colin Farrell's character is waking up. He doesn't know where he is, and there's a bunch of lights flashing, a lot of lights flashing, and it makes you really feel disoriented because you know you're supposed to be experiencing what he's experiencing. But throughout the movie, there's so much light shining in your face and bouncing off of stuff that it's just really, really dizzying. Another thing about this movie, as I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, this movie's pretty much like Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow, because all of the scenes, besides the actual sets they were on and the props and the things they were actually on and working with physically, it's like, oh, they must have green screened that. The only cool thing about this movie was there's a scene where Colin Farrell is out in his balcony looking out of the colony, which is the area where he lives, like the ghetto. And it's a nice looking scene, but every other time they're traveling somewhere or jumping through stuff or running or this and that, it's all green screen looking. Also, the whole, hey, I don't know where I am, people are chasing me, okay, let's stop, take a break, let's learn some stuff, oh, let's keep running, let's take another break, let's learn more stuff, oh, let's keep running, oh, we're going to run into the bad guy that we don't know who it is. It's just, this movie is very formulaic. If you haven't seen Minority Report, watch that. It's a better movie. It's very similar to this, but it's a better movie. So, sorry to rant, guys. This movie just wasn't good. All they really did was just cash in on the Total Recall name. From a rating of a 1 to a 5, this movie's getting 2.5. It just seems like, going into this movie, like the director, it's like you wanted to make something new, and you expected something new and different and exciting, but in the end, you just keep leaning on the original. So, until next time, guys, see ya.